Welcome back, everybody. I am Matthew Reyna for the South Texas Amateur Boxing Association. I'm here today with Emilio Garcia, a U.S. amateur national champion and one of the top-ranked amateur boxers in the world. Emilio, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey Matthew, thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah,
super excited to be your guest on this podcast. I'm really looking forward to it.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir. So let's kick off with the basic question. How did you get started in boxing?
I think I was around 5 years old. I joined because my older brother, he had started boxing, and I kind of just followed it into his footsteps because I was just being lazy at the house. So I just one day I tagged along and I liked it because I was always like really into not really sports, but I was into like kind of like I wasn't a troublemaker, but like I kind of like the idea of fighting. It was always like something that kind of like it fascinated me. So I just wanted to go in there. I didn't even want to train. I just wanted to spar. So that's kind of how it started for me.
Let me ask you this. You spent time at the highest levels of amateur boxing, junior Olympic championships, national championships, Olympic qualifiers. Tell us about the hard work, the dedication, everything it takes to get to that point in boxing.
Ooh, it is a lot of hard work. It's real. It's something that you have to be real consistent on. It's like a kind of like a schedule that you have to always be showing up, doing what you got to do. And I mean, eventually, like the results will they show up, but you just got to keep doing it every day. That's some people like to slack or something. And now, if you want to be like at that level, this is something that you got to be there. You got to be showing up, and you got to be there ready to work.
And tell us about your experience in the Olympic qualifier specifically. What was that like? Is that just like really high pressure? Were you nervous coming into that? What's that like for us that will never experience that?
It's good experience. It's also like the environment. Everybody's there. They're there for like they're there on a mission. So it's real. It's cool seeing everyone there. They're there to qualify to win to do their job. So it kind of motivates you. Like, man, I got to do the same thing too. So it's it's uh it's real something like being out there.
Hmm. Well, let me move away from boxing real quick because me and the president of Stab, Eddie Garcia, always send these videos back and forth to each other. And what they are is a Emilio's Bakery. And it's you interviewing a boxer or an official with USA Boxing and also cooking with them. How did that get started? They're really fun videos.
Um, how did it start? I think I had mentioned it to one of like the media guys out there in the USA Boxing, and they just surprised me one day like with a little apron on their apron, yeah, and they were like, "What would you think about doing all this?" And it was something that excited me, so I was really down with it, and it was trying something, trying to get some of our other athletes, our staff, some of the people behind the scenes, just trying to help the people learn more about them too. So it was something real. It was different. It was like, exciting for me. I liked it.
And how would you compare your doing that? You had to, interview the other boxers, interview the officials. How would you compare your interviewing skills to your boxing skills?
Well, I'm not. It's well, you can't see it in the video, but I would mess up a lot, especially in the beginning. I think I got better as it went on, but I'm real terrible at all that. Started getting the hang of it a bit more, but I remember in the beginning, those first couple episodes, I was really messing up a lot.
And I think in one of the videos I think with Richard Torres they posted some deleted scenes and outtakes too. So we could kind
Yeah,
of see the process.
yeah, that guy. It's real easy. That was probably like the easiest episode because that guy's so like he really knows how to be on the camera and all that. So it was really easy doing that episode.
Mhm. And let me ask this. I believe your dad is your trainer at
Hmm.
Baby Joey's boxing gym.
Yes.
Um, what are some lessons that you take from early in your career, training with your dad, training in Laredo? What are some lessons from early in your career that still apply to even, fighting at the top level in international tournaments?
Lessons. Um, like what do you mean lessons? Like
Like,
in the
stuff you learned early on in the game that like, it's just universal, still applies like even when you're fighting at the highest level. Maybe something, your dad told you early in the game or something you picked up, fighting when you were at the Pee-wee rank or Bantam rank. What's something you've carried with you the whole way where you're something you learned about boxing early in the game that's still useful
yeah,
to you now?
I guess one thing would be you know, you can get caught up with all these competitions and you become like a real take it too serious. Sometimes you gotta enjoy it. And that's the thing with me, especially me when I was, coming up as a kid. Those tournaments, smokers and all that, those were like some of the best like moments of my life because, the team that I had that was with me, like my other teammates and all that, it was just real fun traveling around Texas, the US and all that with them. They're like family. So sometimes you can get caught up in the tournaments and all that and take it too serious, but you got to enjoy these moments because like for me, it was the best moments of my life.
One of the moments I've always wondered about as a non-boxer is what it feels like when the ref's holding your hand, the ref's holding the opponent's hand. You don't know who's won yet, but you know it's a close fight, and you hear the announcer say, by 3-2 decision or by split decision, but they haven't said red or blue yet. What does that moment feel like?
Um, well, I would say like it's different if it's like a tournament or it's just like another day where I would have to fight the next day. It's just a relief. Like it's just yeah, that's it. This fight's over. Or a title. That's like the best feeling.
Mhm.
That's the best. It's different,
So
but you
it,
can't be when it's like a championship fight and you get your hand raised. That's the best.
and a feeling 99% of us will never experience, but being the ref for some of those fights, you can hear it when it's 3-2 or then red corner or blue corner and you raise their hand, you could feel the
The
energy
tension.
almost come out. Yeah, the tension. See, I'm sure you felt that many times.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're in the ring and you're fighting, um, what do you notice in there? I mean, if there's fans, like if you're in another person's country and the fans are against you, they're yelling at you, or the other person's trainer's yelling at you, or maybe the ref is breaking y'all up too quick and the ref's kind of awkward. Like, what do you notice in there? Or none of the above? Is it like you notice none of it, or well, what do you see when you're in there besides the fight?
Me personally, if it's something like with a ref or like a crowd, I just completely blow off everything. It's just me and the guy. So I know it's different. Some people can like, maybe like argue with a ref or something and or something's happening in the crowd, they get like distracted or something. But with me, no, I completely blow everything out. It's just, basically just there to handle the job.
And you've handled the job really well. I mean, if you look at your record, just countless wins. You won the Junior Olympics multiple times. U.S. national champion. If you could, and this question actually comes from our president, Eddie Garcia. He wanted to know, with all the success you've had, if you could give one piece of advice to your 8-year-old self, starting as a peewee, what would that advice be?
To my 8-year-old self,
8-year-old self.
man, I would say to start taking the training a little bit more serious because I remember when I was young, I was just like I mentioned earlier, I was real big on like video games and whatnot. So I would just do like the bare minimum in training and just run back inside because I train in my house. So I would do the bare minimum of training and then run back inside and just hop in that game. So it was I would probably tell myself that, um, start focusing a bit more or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Start taking your training a bit more serious because I remember young me was like he was just here to just trying to get back on that game.
Uh-huh. And let's take the advice you give for yourself and let's move it to the wider world. For people that might try to qualify for the Olympics in 2028 in LA. Um, you know, you've went through it now once, that experience. What's your advice for anyone that's you know, going to be going through the Olympic qualifiers and that sort of deal for LA?
Um, you will see it in those qualifiers when you go out there. The crowd don't really like they don't really like the USA. So that's one thing. Hearing the whole arena to like boo for you or something, that's something that you got to be like prepared for, mentally prepared for. That it's coming, that it happens.
Mhm.
So just don't let it like affect your game, and just remember that you're there. You're there on a mission. You're there to qualify. So don't lose sight of that.
And as we start to wrap this up, I wonder, you know, what's next for you? Of course, the Olympics are going to be in the U.S. in 2028. Do you see yourself, you know, maybe sticking around for that, or do you see yourself, you know, taking the jump to the next level, the professional level? What's next for Emilio Garcia?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm still like 50-50 right now. So I'm still like I'm still trying to see like how it's looking. So no official decision yet. So we'll see in the future.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that. And I'll close with this. We like to close with an easy question. You of course host Emilio's Bakery, so tell us all, everybody watching, what's your favorite dessert?
Uh you can't go wrong with cookies. I love cookies. But it's not like for me it's not a regular chocolate chip or anything like that. I like to get like real fancy with them. I like it. I don't know, it has to be like something some type of like weird cookie. Those always like I love those. Like maybe like a cookie, like cake or whatever it is, something like that.
Hmm.
Those I love those.
Okay. Okay, well, I think that's a perfect spot for us to close out. We've been talking to Emilio Garcia, U.S. national champion and one of the top ranked amateur boxers in the world. Emilio, thank you so much for joining the program today.
Thanks for having me, Matthew.